my song. Let's sing it. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Come on, it's gonna be fucking awesome. You know the words. It's gonna be fucking awesome. That's it, sing. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah!
Hello everybody, it is I, Jesse Blaze Snider, the coolest geek alive. How you doing? Welcome to Coolest Alive. I'm fucking sick. I'm sorry, I've been out of it. I haven't done my weekend show for any picks in a minute. But it's been a slow, there's a couple things that we could talk about or whatever. And I'll just mention real quick, one after another. Even though it looks like it did kind of good because it's over 100 million or something like that at the box office, it's I really didn't enjoy it. I didn't watch the whole thing. I talked about it at length on an episode, and it was very expensive to make. I think it was 150 million that I had heard, and it's not gonna quite get there, so it's not gonna make its budget back. It's a really weird movie. I was just watching The Critical Drinker breaking it down, and he was saying that, I forget what the first bit that he was saying was important. I don't know, the story was engrossing or something. But the second bit being the characters, that I have to be invested in the characters. And that was why me and my son left, because we basically decided, and somebody else who had watched the whole movie said the same thing from the beginning. They basically went, I didn't care, if these people died. Leonardo DiCaprio's character is I hate this term too, but he's the definition of a simp, I guess you would call him. He's literally his motivation for freedom fighting is he likes black chicks. It's make me want to gag. The whole movie, the main the lady who's he's obsessed with, and Sean Penn's character is obsessed with, she's just a terrible asshole. It's very just who the fuck am I? Why am I? Who do I want? Whose story do I want to see told here? And the answer was really none of their stories. Anyway, it's not doing so well. And this weekend, The Smashing Machine came out, which I really wanted to see. I love that documentary. I love Mark Kerr, the fighter. He's a beast, man. The Smashing Machine documentary, I highly recommend. I've heard sort of mostly positive but slightly mixed things about the Smashing Machine, but nobody went to go see it. I want to see it, so I better get to the theater and see it quick before it's gone. But anyway, there's not that much to talk about here, although I'm not going to do a fucking hour episode of, whatever. It's just, and it's not that important. I don't want to, you know me, we talk about this. I don't want to fucking just be bitching all the time about stuff. So instead, I went through my list of shows and stuff that I want to do, and maybe I should just read this as an all-time thing, just things coming up in the future, and these tend to be if there's nothing at the moment, up to the minute, that seems I really want to talk about or is important to talk about or cover or whatever, things that I want to do. So this Quentin Tarantino thing here today, this is a coolest pick for the main show. On the weekends I do the coolest picks, movies, TV shows, whatever. But this is usually, hopefully it's a dozen, picks with little extra things I mentioned and whatever else. But when I can do coolest picks as main shows when I have time to talk about these things. A lot of these things I really just have to brush up on a little bit in order to talk about them at any length. So some of them may take longer for me to get to them, but on my list of things that I would like to do a main show about, so you can look forward to for the future. Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, fucking great TV shows. The Planet of the Apes trilogy, the originals and the one that they made, and now there's a new one. Talk about all Planet of the Apes. Celebration, Disney's Gargoyles celebration of The Wire from HBO, 5 seasons, fucking greatest television of all time. Deadwood, the 3 seasons, and the film. I actually still haven't seen the film. I've been waiting to rewatch everything and then watch the film, and then I was going to do an episode. I just haven't Haven't done it yet, mostly because I wanted to do it with my girlfriend, and I just haven't had a chance to do it with her. I haven't had a chance to do it with her. Hey. The Shield, 6 seasons with Michael Chiklis. That show's fucking great. Walton Goggins is in that. That's like his first show. What a great show that is. Avatar: The Last Airbender. I want to talk about the animated series. The original animated series is fucking amazing. I want to do Robert Rodriguez and the El Mariachi universe celebration, but also like, bonus stuff for some of my other favorite things of his. He's really an impressive filmmaker who picked himself up by his bootstraps and really has been very innovative and done a lot of really cool stuff and been very family oriented and cool things with his kids. He's kind of fell off the map for me as far as like the stuff he makes these days. But I still love Robert Rodriguez. Tarantino films, which is on this list, but I'm crossing it out right now. I'm deleting it from the list because I'm doing it. I got to make fucking lists of the things that I've already done because like once or twice now, I've almost done doubles because some things I like a lot. I want to do a celebration of Christopher Nolan films, celebration of Guillermo del Toro films, Lord of the Rings trilogy celebration, Twin Peaks celebration, Ninja Turtles, toys, animated original films, and I've seen all the films and little pieces of like some of the other animated series, but from my basis of my love and some of the things worth celebrating that that I'd love to talk about that someday. Deadpool, films, comics, and Joe Kelly, the writer who really made Deadpool what he is. Hulk celebration, my love for the Incredible Hulk, Lobo celebration, Dick Grayson celebration, Nightwing, Robin, the original Robin from Batman's Robin, one of my favorite characters. Preacher, the series celebration, not the television series, but the original comic series, one of my favorites of all time. A Black Panther celebration, some of my favorite comics of all time by Christopher Priest, and just a great character, especially when utilized well. Savage Dragon celebration. But we did that, right? I did Savage Dragon Celebration. I did. Yes. Right? Shit. See, this is why I got to make a list. Because I don't always erase things. I did a Savage Dragon Celebration. I'm saying yes. Animal Man Celebration. Animal Man's one of my favorite comic series of all time. The Grant Morrison run. Much later, there was a Jeff Lemire run that I didn't read a lot of, but I read some of it. It was really good too. But Animal Man, what a great character as presented by Morrison in particular. That run will stick with me for the rest of my life. Recommend that to anybody. The Thing and the Fantastic Four Celebration. Luna Brothers and the Luna Brothers celebration. They were great creators. They've got a book called Girls, another book called The Sword that I love, another book called Ultra that's really good. Might have one more that I've read too that I'm not remembering off the top of my head. Jeff Johns celebration, one of the great comic book writers of our time. Grant Morrison, one of the great comic book writers of our time. These are all great comic book writers, all these people. Celebration of the work of Warren Ellis, celebration of the work of Chuck Dixon, celebration of the work of Paul Jenkins, celebration of some artists like Brian Boland, Art Adams, Dale Keown, Jeff Darrow, writer Brian Michael Bendis, who's another creator whose work's a little bit fallen off for me, but there was a time and there is some of his work that still stands wonderfully, and Powers and Torso and Jinx and so many great things. He's really written some wonderful works and great stuff at Marvel too, prior to eventually, I don't know, sometimes it happens with certain writers, they like lose perspective on what they're doing. And the magic that was there in the beginning isn't exactly there anymore. Forgive me, Brian, if you ever hear me say this, I will return to your work over and over again as you release new things and keep giving you infinite chances to change my mind about that. And I'm sure some of them will be wonderful. JMS, J. Michael Strigninski, great comic book writer. He also produced Babylon 5, which I couldn't really get into Babylon 5, but I want to celebrate his comic book work because it's excellent. Alan Moore celebration. He's a great comic book writer. Frank Miller celebration. An X-Men celebration. So many different things of the X-Men that I love to celebrate. Care Bears celebration. I fucking love the Care Bears. What I say all the time. Care Bears stare, right? I fucking Care Bears. It's such a simple. I would love to have the rights to the Care Bears. I would do awesome work with the fucking Care Bears. I promise you. I want to do a Power Rangers and Rest in Peace JDF celebration. Probably try to line that up one of these days with his birthday or something. I was friends with JDF, and because I was a pussy and I didn't want to come visit him in Texas where he jumped out of airplanes. They had their own airplane. He had a fucking karate school, and I was just like a little intimidated. But he and I spoke, not regularly, but I mean regularly, sporadically, but regularly, I guess you would say. Like, all the time. Like, maybe every like 3 to 6 months or something like that. We would talk, and when we had met at a convention and became friends, and I had this open invitation to go fucking jump out of airplanes with him and stuff, and I was too scared at the time, and it's a real regret of mine. And he was a good guy. Really liked him a lot, and I want to chat about my friend and just my experience with the Power Rangers, which wasn't exactly my thing. It was my kids. Not my kids, my younger brothers. They were 5 and 7 years younger than me. But I loved JDF. He was badass. I was super into the Pink Power Ranger. There were certain aspects. I like kaijus, so like there were certain aspects of Power Rangers that I did enjoy. And JDF, though, he grounded because he had long hair. I had long hair. I'd be made fun of for having long hair or whatever else. And this was like this cool kid who could defend himself and like so many different things that I really like. I even though I wasn't like Power Rangers age, I looked up to him. I was glad he was on TV. I told him that, and it was kind of like that was the first thing I told him when I met him. And then we met hours later or the next day or something like that. And I certainly had laid out a very nice welcome wagon to say, you affected my life positively. Anyway, little divergence about my buddy JDF. Really sad that he's gone. Rest in peace, JDF. And then wrestling. I want to do a wrestling episode and talk about the Royal Rumble. I did do a wrestling episode where I talked about how I think Vince McMahon is responsible, possibly responsible for fucking sacrificing various gladiators over the years. That's a good episode. You should go back and listen to it because I have no fucking filter. But I love wrestling, like as a concept, even though like I'm not somebody who watches full matches. Generally speaking, I get really bored. I always wanted to write wrestling, though. I always wanted to get. There was a moment in time where I was kind of like getting out of comics, and I was like trying to see if I could maybe get myself into wrestling, but I got kind of sidetracked by other things I wanted to do more. But I was trying to get in there because I was interested, especially just the Royal Rumble. Like I'll die happy if one day I get to write a Royal Rumble. That would be so fucking awesome. Just putting it out there, everybody, into the universe. Jesse Blaze Snider would love to be responsible for penning a Royal Rumble one day, just whenever that makes sense. Just somebody remembered that I said that. So I want to celebrate that shit. Steven Seagal movies. Steven sucks. But there is like a handful. There's like 6 of them, I guess, that are like great. Really great Steven Seagal movies. My dad was a Steven Seagal fan. He got me into Steven Seagal when I was a kid, and I do quite enjoy those movies. And they're worth making fun of, but like they're great. The work of Mel Gibson. This is another one that I might jump into and do, any day now because I could do that whenever. Some of these are easier to do than others. Some of these, require me kind of brushing. Like in order to watch the wrestling one, I really want to talk about the Royal Rumble, so I'm gonna have to like do like a refresher course on the Royal Rumbles, which perhaps I could do that one morning or whatever. But it's like, so that one might get done or whatever. But Jeff Darrow stuff, like, I don't know. I might have to do a lot of reading. Whether it's online and I go read some summations of a bunch of the things that he worked on, or I go back to my comic box that I got at my kids with some of the stuff that I saved of his, and I got to go read that stuff. So there's reasons why like I haven't got to all these guys, but I will eventually. Like this is on the list. I've got at least like 100 fucking episodes here. Mel Gibson is one of my favorite actors and brilliant director and writer. Really, he's incredible. I almost did today the work of Paul Newman, but I kind of still feel like there's more movies of his that I'd like to see. And when I tried to do like a count up of like how many I could do as like a list, it was shorter than I would like it to be, like, or at least for the ones that I remember, there were some that I'd seen that I'm like, I don't know if I can count that because I don't remember that one at all. Even though I remember liking the Harper, and there was a couple. I really like all of his movies. Fucking Paul Newman, he's the best. Eddie Izzard comedy. Eddie Izzard is fucking hysterical. I want to do just a feature on how brilliant he is. He's got some great kind of geek culture related things as well. And then, and then I have another list of coolest picks that I just like haven't got around to, but they're on my list, and they might end up becoming other things. Which Girls Forever's great TV show, I just haven't gotten through it. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the first one, they cloned Tyrone, I got to rewatch it. Everything Everywhere All at Once, I got to rewatch it. Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the 2 seasons, fucking amazing. That's like the blueprint for everything in the Marvel Universe. In fact, I think I did an episode on it being the blueprint for the Marvel Universe, so I'm going to get rid of that one. Stranger Than Fiction, movie with Will Ferrell, great one. Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise. I think I might have done Edge of Tomorrow. See, I got to write fucking lists to make sure that I'm not doubling things. District 9, Hateful Eight, which we're going to do today, so I can delete that one. My Name is Dolomite, fucking awesome, on Netflix with Eddie Murphy. Moon with Sam Rockwell. Fucking great stuff. This is Spinal Tap. I did. The Warriors, fucking classic. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Braveheart. Pan's Labyrinth. The Sting. I did by virtue of my Robert Redford episode, so I'm getting rid of that one. Playmakers. Should I actually keep that? Should I keep The Sting and do it anyway as an individual episode by the time I get to it one day? Playmakers TV series. There's only 1 season of this show. Fucking amazing, about football. They basically the NFL shut it down because it was too real. Titan AE animated film, amazing. War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise, great one. Hudson Hawk, which is a movie that a lot of people hate. Awesome. I love that movie. We'll talk about it. Anyway, I'm just super stoked to go through this Quentin Tarantino filmography. He is a writer, a brilliant writer. I really enjoy his work. There are some things that I like more than others, but I mean, I immediately just realized the first 6 things on the list were things that I considered basically flawless of my top 6, in one regard or another. I mean, and really actually kind of goes more than that. I mean maybe my top 10 I find to be basically flawless films, and the top 5 are movies that I really have taken a shine to. And even my 6, 7, and 8 are maybe movies that are they're so popular to like them that there's a part of me that doesn't want to like them as much or something like that, but they are all great movies, and in the upper echelons of, if I'm making a top 100, they probably have to end up on that list. It's there because it's going to come up against, okay, well, which better, this or this, and you're going to start going, well, I think that's better. So I mean, it's an amazing list that I have here. I've got it backwards the way I wrote it, but I want to go. I wrote it counting from 1, 2, 3, 4, but I'm going to go backwards to count down these things. But Quentin Tarantino is a great lesson as a writer, like myself, in how people are often translated in different ways. There's a movie that we'll get to towards the end of this thing that was directed and rewritten by a filmmaker, and I'm glad that the director readjusted the movie that way. I like his version better. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And there are other times when I don't remember, this isn't on the list, because it's really, it's not my favorite movie at all. I really don't particularly care for it. But I believe that that's really Oliver Stone's fault, and that movie is Natural Born Killers. It's very different than Tarantino's script, and a great lesson for you. I can't remember all the details. I didn't freshen up on this particular angle of conversation. But I remember at the time that I dug into it, it was just very interesting. Quentin Tarantino's feelings about the ways in which he changed it. He didn't really care for it on a lot of different levels. I think he had he refused to watch it for a little while. There was a whole bunch of different things. I think he tried to maybe even get his name off of it. Forgive me if I'm fucking up any of the details here, but there's a whole story, and just interesting as a young writer coming up and hearing that because you heard about him as this writer director where he was more in control of what he was doing. He really came onto the scene with Pulp Fiction was when everybody was hearing about him. People who were in the know had maybe seen Reservoir Dogs or whatever, but Reservoir Dogs became that much more of a hit when Pulp Fiction became a big spotlight on it, and everybody was able to go discover those movies. Like I did at the time. But prior to those movies and him being the writer-director, he was a writer. He had screenplays and things that were out and about in the world. And he was also a script doctor. He was uncredited dialogue revisionist in Crimson Tide. Oftentimes people will cite scenes in that movie that they believe must be written by Quentin Tarantino, and perhaps they are. I think I've heard different things kind of confirmed and not confirmed by him about some of the pieces that he did have something to do with and things that he didn't. There is one movie on the list that he is an uncredited script doctor for, and I think it's got a lot of his energy to it, and in such a lovely way. It's one of my favorite movies. Simple favorites, movies. And I really like it, and we'll talk about that one in a second too. So he's been showing up in places like that. So Natural Born Killers, that was a script that was kind of mangled by Oliver Stone, I feel. And I don't remember exactly what Quentin Tarantino's version was, but I do remember when I heard it, I was like, well, I like that a lot better. And then, ghostwriting in some things like Crimson Tide. And then also, this is outside of the purview of our thing today, but he's been producing things. He's been putting his name on some things, and not a lot, very select things. But his name was on Hostel and Hostel 2. And I think perhaps, there's some creative work going into some of the formatting or whatever suggestions that are going on in these films. But then something like Iron Monkey was a great kung fu movie that he brought here from I don't know if it's from Japan or China. Forgive me. Whatever culture, whatever country it came from. But it was a foreign movie that he decided to back up and put his name on and release. And I remember I was writing for my school newspaper, my college newspaper at CW Post. And I would watch every movie that came out so that I could keep the entire section with a consistent voice for movie ratings and things like that. And Iron Monkey was freaking awesome, man. Loved that movie. Okay, so without further ado, and I'll just say the only other thing that I think is not on this list of 13 is, and maybe there's some more obscure thing that you might consider, but is Four Rooms, which I just don't think Four Rooms is awesome. I think Quentin Tarantino's section of it is solid, but it's not a very good movie in general. I don't really like Four Rooms. I don't necessarily recommend that one unless you become a fanatic and you're a completist and you must see it. But it's not. It's kind of forgettable. All right, at number 13, I'm putting in the segment of Grindhouse that Quentin Tarantino, what do you call it, that he made with Kurt Russell and a cast of sexy ladies. You know what? I should pull up. I should do dueling things here so that I can see my list, and then at the same time I can have IMDb pulled up and I can have information about all these things at the same time. I think that sounds like a good plan. So as I'm saying, number 13, Death Proof. I do not hate Death Proof, but I don't love it. It's a little creepy for me. He's just creepy. I love Kurt Russell. I kind of hate seeing Kurt Russell in the role because it feels so yuck. It's like this guy, like, it's weird too because there's lots of male serial killers who are often going after women. But it's only in that movie do I feel like this man is brutalizing these women, and not only is he brutalizing them, he's brutalizing them with a weapon, with the car and everything. So that flick just left a weird taste in my mouth. And Kurt Russell's performance is really stilted in a way that I think Quentin Tarantino probably loved. But I don't love. I granted, I'm probably just looking for something to hold on to in terms of like how much I hate his character. Just as like an honorable man. Like I just like kind of wince watching the movie, and I'm glad when it's over. And I think I've probably only seen that one like twice. The cast of women are, a mixed bag in terms of like the quality of their acting. But mostly, some really good performances. Rosario Dawson, I always enjoy. Zoe Bell is, the stunt woman lady who's like gotta like come back and kick some ass or whatever. But she's just, not the best actress. Vanessa Ferlito, she's sexy and cool. It's good. It's not a bad movie. It's well shot. It's an interesting concept. It just makes me feel kind of yuck. But the performances are good enough. It's got a vibe. It is cool, and I like both of these flicks in the Grindhouse feature. I think Robert Rodriguez is a little bit more like abstract in some ways, but there's some fun stuff there as well. But I like Quentin's better. It's just like wrong for my idiom. It's just a little bit outside of my personality to enjoy this one as much as somebody else might. Okay, moving on to number 12. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And I'm sorry for those of you who are going, you know what? I haven't had a chance to watch it a second time. But the first time I saw it, I tried to not educate myself on like what I was going to see because I thought that was going to be the better experience. After I educated myself afterwards, I feel like perhaps it will be a better experience to go see it again. I think there's a chance that I might end up putting Once Upon a Time in Mexico up above, at the very least, like, breaking into the top 10, and skipping some of these next films that I like, but I don't think are quite perfect. And there's some things about this movie that I really love. The performances are great. Brad Pitt and DiCaprio are amazing. I almost feel like, and I think me and my girlfriend saw it together, and we were both kind of like almost let down by the trailer. Like the trailer got us so excited. And then, and the way it like folded in with the history, we like didn't know the history well enough to sort of know what was real and what was fake, and we kind of just ended up leaving a bit confused. But that does not change that like we were really loving it in the beginning, and there's so many great scenes and the performances are really awesome, and I think I might like this one better with future viewings, and and I've thought back on it fondly and lots of little bits of it fondly, and I think that's a testament to how good it is. And sometimes movies do, it's Quentin Tarantino, it's this great movie, everybody's saying it's the greatest movie, like that does affect your perception of things. So so I'm really kind of, I feel like even though I didn't enjoy it a lot when I saw it at the time, I feel like I'm going to have a better vision of it in the near future. But it's largely excellent. I'm just, again, how it's shot and the quality of what's there is really excellent. And that's the case in every Quentin Tarantino movie. I mean, really, and we'll eventually get to my tops. Okay, number 11, we've got Inglourious Bastards, which is fucking great. I mean, really, tons of memorable shit in it. I feel like it's a little long in the tooth, And it's interesting because there's a movie that's at the top of this list that I'm going to tell you to watch the long in the tooth version because how great it is. And this is like kind of styled after French movies as far as I understand. So, which can be a little bit long in the tooth, I found myself just stirring a bit, especially towards like sort of like the mid third of the movie, and that's just never what you want to be doing. Even though the lead up to there was some great stuff. I mean, the performances of what's his name? I'm gonna get the dude's name wrong. Well, I'll say Brad Pitt is great in his whole little army, the Bear Jew, and all that. It's wonderful. But the Waltz, I remembered before I saw it, of course. Christoph Waltz. Oh man, his performance is just so memorable. There's so many really great, memorable scenes. It's a really solid, ridiculous Nazi, Nazi hating movie. I've always enjoyed those ones as a kid, and it was cool. Honestly, if it was paced a little better, it would be higher on the list. Like, I mean, like really, like cut out like a half an hour of that movie, like just spit it up. 'Cause I think I've only been able to watch it, and I don't even think I got through the whole thing. Twice, because I got like to that part where it kind of slowed down, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. It's like, I'm going to bed. I'm going to sleep now. But it's excellent. Similarly excellent, but just a little bit more rooted in some revenge fun. And revenge fun is my favorite, and a bit shorter and like, brisker in its execution is my number 10 pick, Django Unchained. It's excellent. I'm a big Jamie Foxx fan. Really like him. And since back in the day in... oh, bless me, sorry. I hit a belch because I was drinking water. Back when he was on In Living Color, just demonstrated himself as a brilliant vocalist, as a brilliant actor. I really like seeing him and stuff. Really like him at Baby Driver and so many movies. Really like that man. Think he's charming as hell, and he's great here. There is some amazing performances. Christoph Waltz is excellent. He's not quite the performance that is in Inglourious Bastards, but just sort of a demonstration of how charming his delivery is across the board. Because really his whole thing here is just charm. He's just the charming white man backing up the revenge-driven black man. But Leonardo DiCaprio and Samuel L. Jackson, like, whoa, some amazing performances. Kerry Washington's great. You've got fucking Walton Goggins in there, and he's always great. Just so many people. James Remar's in it. There's just a lot of great, great actors showing up. Like Don Johnson shows up in some spots and whatnot. I mean, really, it's excellent. The action's great. I mean, really, everything about it, I loved. Is it my favorite movie ever? No. Would it make the top 100? I don't know. It'd probably make top 200. It is a damn fine flick. And again, this one, I think I've only seen it twice. But both times I was like, that's great. It's great. It just so happens though that I like these other movies even better, and they, contend with some of my favorite movies ever. And I think these next ones all probably would make my top 100 movies of all time. Number 9, and we don't know how much of this he wrote on, but in 1996, a great movie came out called The Rock. It's awesome because, especially in the aftermath of it, it's a quintessential Jerry Bruckheimer production with some excellent actors like Nicolas Cage as the main sort of brainy, reluctant action star. He's like an agent, but he's more of an academic than he is a field agent. And there is, I'll read you the description here, an FBI chemical weapons expert, that's Nicolas Cage, and a former SAS soldier turned political prisoner, played by Sean Connery, must break into Alcatraz prison when a rogue military group led by a renegade general take it over and threaten a nerve gas attack on San Francisco. So they basically team up with this guy because he's the only person who's escaped from Alcatraz, and they're going to go break into Alcatraz so they can stop what's going to happen. And Nicolas Cage has to go because he's the chemicals expert that can like withstand this thing. But essentially, Sean Connery is playing James Bond. Any name given to this SAS soldier, he's a secret agent. He's Bond. And we've arrested him, and we've had him in prison. And, you know, I won't spoil the movie, but if you want to see the fucking old man Bond, James Bond film, The Rock is it. And it's great. And there's lots of great dialogue, great performances. Ed Harris plays, I think he's like a military general who decides to, you know, make this executive decision and do this thing. There's a lot of excellent actors in here, like Michael Biehn and others. You know, John C. McGinley, Tony Todd, Bokeem Woodbine. I mean, just tons of people that, you know, like that. Even if I said their name, you wouldn't recognize their name, but you'd recognize their face in a heartbeat. Jerry Bruckheimer productions are generally really great. I like Jerry Bruckheimer a bunch. I might even make a Jerry Bruckheimer list of fucking movies because he makes good flicks. This was directed by Michael Bay. The screenplay was actually written by David Weisberg and Douglas Cook and Mark Rosner, but allegedly, and there seems to be some Quentin Tarantino fingerprints on it, there is uncredited script doctoring done by Quentin Tarantino here. So it's on my list. I'm sorry. Deal with it. Okay. All right. Getting into... we've getting into the top 8 now. 2 of these films were directed by somebody other than Quentin Tarantino, but written by him. And we'll get to that in a second. At number 8 and number 7, these are the 2 that I'm saying. Maybe I'm a little biased by just like all of the hype around them and so many different things. And maybe if I had a more equalized perspective, they would be higher or something. I don't know. I love them. They're great movies. Me liking one a little bit more than the other. But 8, Pulp Fiction. It's a fucking great movie. Really hard to deny its greatness. It's clever. It's so many things. It's you know, it's got a wonderful mismatch of characters. You know, who all, you know, kind of crossover in the end. Kind of the formula for the Guy Ritchie films. It's I mean, you got Uma Thurman in such a classic role. You got John Travolta's entire career revitalized. You got Samuel L. Jackson's career officially launched. You've got a classic role for Bruce Willis as Butch. Tim Roth as Pumpkin with his crazy girlfriend Amanda Plummer, Honey Bunny. I mean, just there's so much classic shit about this movie. Phil LaMarr getting shot in the kitchen, you know, over a fucking tasty burger. There's just Ving Rhames and just, oh God, this movie's so good. It's great. Eric Stoltz, Quentin Tarantino just pulls out all the stops. Steve Buscemi, Christopher Walken with the watch up the ass. Just, there's so much. there's I held this uncomfortable hunk of metal up my ass. Fabulous, surreal moment in filmmaking. Pulp Fiction is glorious. And, you know, it really, there are some scenes, I've started watching that movie so many times just for the Sam Jackson and John Travolta scenes, and, like, maybe not even taking it all the way to the end, but, like, you know, watched as far into that as I could because they were just such a wonderful duo. A wonderful duo. You can't beat a wonderful duo. So then, additionally, at number 7, and I mean, like, I like this movie more conceptually. Maybe visually it's not as slick or whatever as Pulp Fiction, but Reservoir Dogs, excellent. I don't know what sort of accent Tim Roth does. His American accent is very weird to me. I find it weird. I find his voice weird in this movie. If he wasn't the main guy, I would like this movie even more, I think. But Harvey Keitel's fucking great. Just like the clusterfuck situation that is, the brought to a head here in this flick, and the craziness of Michael Madsen's Mr. Blonde, the overexcitement of Chris Penn as Nice Guy Eddie, all their fucking names. This movie's just so fucking slick in so many ways. Steve Buscemi, thank you for introducing me to him in this movie. I think this was the first time I'd seen him in a movie. It was excellent. Just great shit, man. It's all awesome. And, and thus begins really the Quentin Tarantino filmography. And it still stands up as a fucking killer, man. Number 7 on my list here. And there's others, but 2 ahead of these Quentin didn't make himself. All right, at number 6, and again, perhaps I'm a little biased here because of all the hype surrounding it and whatnot, but I tied them into the same thing on the same list. It's kind of like a long thing to get through the whole thing. It's kind of like a whole saga, but it's great. Number 6, Kill Bill, Volume 1 and Volume 2. There's so much to dig in there. I'm looking forward to seeing the longer version of the thing. I'm kind of like counting that as like in this place here. I can't imagine it's necessarily going to get like any better. Hopefully it's, hopefully it cuts together nice and it's not like it doesn't drag like I think Inglourious Bastards does a little bit, but I think it's meant to. Inglourious Bastards is just not my style, man. Yeah, I mean, what can I say about Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 that has not been said already by all of the people? It is so cool. I think it is awesome. Look at this. She run around, she kill people. We have foot fetish. Yes, foot fetish aside, I would like the movie better. I have like a reverse foot fetish. I'm like really not particularly into feet. I remember when that scene came out and I'm like, ew, I really don't like her feet. Can we stop looking at them? Had to sit there for that scene. Trying to turn people into foot fetishists, Mr. Quentin Tarantino. He may have a foot thing. Is great as the bride. Fucking David Carradine's great as Bill. It's just like some perfect casting or whatever. Really just the whole thing has so much atmosphere, and their whole team of shitheads is excellent. From Daryl Hannah, who's great as Ely Driver with the patch. Lucy Liu, who I always really like Lucy Liu. Michael Madsen, incredible as Bud. Vivica A. Fox, wow, wee woo, as Vernita Green. And subtle ties to the the badass bitches who are the joke from Pulp Fiction. There's tons of other little people showing up here. I mean, like people that like the lady who's Gogo Yubari, Chiaki Yoyami. Yeah, she's fucking awesome. There's just a ton of cool people in these flicks and in little like guest appearance roles and whatnot. Some that you'd be surprised by. But like mostly not people whose like names you're gonna recognize. The fucking Kung Fu is insane. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, I'm due for a rewatch. It's excellent. It's fun. It's funny. It's a great revenge film. I love revenge shit. So, revenge stuff, right up my alley, buddy. I'm really into it. Yeah, I don't know. There's not that much more to it's fucking, I don't know. To me, like, it's like a little bit like styly over substance. It's on some level maybe takes away from like the depth of some of the stuff. Like it's like slightly cartoony. But I do quite enjoy it. Okay. At number 5, also slightly cartoony, but it just brings something a bit new to the table. Directed by Robert Rodriguez, based on a screenplay by Quentin Tarantino, is 1996's From Dusk Till Dawn, my number 5 pick. I love this movie. It's just fucking ridiculous. The story went that it was a mash together of 2 different screenplays. One about a vampire bar and one about these 2 brothers who were like on the run criminals. And that these 2 screenplay ideas or 2 screenplay bits that they had were mashed together into one thing. And you get this. Oh my God. Fucking George Clooney has never been more badass. I think George Clooney has like an action career thanks to From Dusk Till Dawn. He looks fucking incredible. Another great Harvey Keitel performance. Even though I always used to think of him as like a little stilted, but I just at the same time like he does like it's like I don't know, command the scenes and the space and shit. You got a young Juliette Lewis in here. You got creepy ass Quentin Tarantino as the brother, and Quentin's perfect for the part. He really is, just for what it is. Like he's really putting himself out there as like a creeper. You got Salma Hayek as a fucking hot ass vampire. You got freaking Cheech Marin and Danny Trejo as some scary ass Mexican bartender, club owner vampires. You get Fred Williamson as just a badass vampire hunting, and then later vampire. And then you get Tom Savini. And if for those of you that don't know, Fred Williamson's like a famous blaxploitation actor. He's like badass action kind of guy. And then Tom Savini, who's a famous makeup special effects guy. And I believe he worked on the movie, playing Sex Machine with the gun pistol penis, the penis pistol. The penis pump pistol. Come get your penis pump pistol now. $3.99, $5.99 for whatever. It's some great shit, man. I really just like. I quite enjoy From Dusk Till Dawn. It is a fun one for me. This is Robert Kurtzman has given story credit, and Quentin Tarantino's given screenplay credit. Like I said, I've heard other things besides that, but this is one of the movies that made me love Robert Rodriguez as well. The way it's shot, it's super, super cool. His action stuff, and the way he cuts his action with his music, I really like. Usually he cuts his own stuff. Really enjoy a lot of, especially the early work of Robert Rodriguez. So that's it, number 5, From Dusk Till Dawn. And we are getting to, wait a second. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh no. Oh, well, I guess I just didn't have to do what I didn't have to do. Because I couldn't choose between the Kill Bills volumes anyway. I kind of enjoy both of them, I think, equally. So I'm sorry. Somehow, unless I didn't delete one, did I? I'm just making sure here. What's my time? My number 1's there. That was supposed to be number 3. So how did that end up happening? Okay. I'm not sure how it ended up happening, but I cheated by connecting Kill Bill Volume 1 because I wanted to bring my list to a nice 13. So turns out it already was 13, and I didn't need to change that. So we'll call Kill Bill Volume 1. I don't know, Volume 2 I probably like a little bit better, maybe. So we'll call Kill Bill Volume 1 number 6, and then we'll say Kill Bill Volume 2 is number 5. And that makes From Dusk Till Dawn number 4. All right, number 3 on the list is a Quentin Tarantino movie that I did not initially like I didn't initially like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And it was only like, I don't know, less than a decade ago, maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago, that I finally sat down to watch it again, because I'd watched it when I was so young, and I just I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't want to like it. Something. I just was like, meh. And I watched it, and oh man, I just loved this movie. It just is one of my favorite Quentin Tarantino movies of all time, and it kind of became my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie for a moment until 2015 came around, and my new number 1 came into focus. And I mean, granted, my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie was number 2 up until that point as well, so this still didn't break my number 2. But Jackie Brown, I really like Jackie Brown. I'll read the description of the flick for you. I'll go with one of these longer ones here so you can see here. Jackie Brown's the name of a flight attendant who gets caught smuggling her boss's gun money on the airline she works for. Luckily for her, Fed Ray Nicolette and LA cop Mark Durgus decide to team up in order to arrest the arms dealer she works for, whose name they don't even know. Here's when she has to choose one way: tell Nicolette and Dragus about Ordell Robbie, the arms dealer, and get her freedom, except that if Ordell suspects you're talking about him, you're dead, or keep her mouth shut and do some time. That's when she meets Max Cherry, her bail bondsman, a recently separated, burnt-out man in his late 50s who falls in love with her. Then Jackie comes up with a plan to play the feds off against Ordell and the guys he works with, Louise Gara and Melanie Ralston, among others, and walk off with their money. But she needs Max's help. No one is going to stand in the way of his $1 million payoff. So like I said, when I was younger, I really didn't get into this movie. But just whenever I got into it, since then I've watched it like 4 or 5 times. I liked it that much, and I've put it on again. The main actor who plays the bail bondsman to Jackie Brown, who's played by Pam Grier, I was young and she was kind of old, and she was supposed to be like sexy, and I wasn't like at like a place where I was like, yeah, older women are attractive. I was like, I want girls who are my age. So like that part of it didn't like appeal to me. And he was an aging, actor from movies that like I'd never heard of. Robert Forrester, who played Max Cherry, but he's great. And Samuel L. Jackson is excellent in this flick. Subtly different than he is in other movies, and real scumbag. Robert De Niro plays a real scumbag in it as well. I really love the shit with Robert De Niro and what happens to him. Michael Keaton's in it, playing one of the police officer who's trying to like fuck with lady. Bridget Fonda's in it in a unique role. Chris Tucker in a great little part. Chris Tucker doesn't show up in a lot of shit, and is a worthwhile bit for him. And you even have people like Sid Haig. There's a bunch of Tommy Lister, the big guy who played Zeus in the Hulkamania movie, Hulkster, whatever the fuck that movie is called, Ready to Rumble something. I'm just going through some of the people here. More people who you'd recognize, but you wouldn't necessarily know their names. The Robert De Niro stuff alone, his character is like, the whole thing, there's great shit going on with him and Samuel Jackson and Bridget Fonda and Robert. It's great. And Jackie Brown, she's having to play the center of this thing and be smart about it all. And I like the love story, and as an adult, I felt it was hot and sexy in the right way, not like in that gratuitous way where you're like they're doing sexy things, but where it was like you felt just the edge of tension and in a good way. I really I like it. All right, moving in to my number 2 pick, 1993. Directed by Tony Scott, based on a script by Quentin Tarantino, with the ending massively changed. And I won't tell you what the ending is, but I'll say that I like Tony Scott's ending better. I'm a big Tony Scott fan of his directing. I've been meaning to put that on my list of... I should just add to right here. The Scott brothers directing. Scott brothers... best films. They're so good. The my neck. I'm so under the weather, man. Even though I haven't been congested or anything like that, I've just felt like I have a fever where my body's been super achy and I've had no energy, and I'm in the middle of freaking promoting this campaign for my my healing frequency, my sound music. If you're not following it and you want to support me, I really appreciate it. We're almost at our goal. We still have 21 days left to go. But get in there now and do it. Go to Kickstarter, type in Jesse Blaze Snider, healing frequencies, sound frequencies. It's Solfeggio healing sound frequencies or something like that. but you type in close to this and it's going to show up. And back the campaign, just like right after I launched it, I got sick and I haven't been able to do, I've been doing all the promotion and stuff, but I haven't been able to do like as much like one-to-one work and things that I was planning on doing. I'm hoping to be able to get to it, but like even like doing my podcast this week was super. Just I'm so out of it. Okay, so I got the Scott brothers in there. Anyway, True Romance is directed by Tony Scott. Oh, and thank you to anybody out there who has already gone to the campaign and has already backed it. I really appreciate you guys so much backing me up, because ultimately, at the end of the day, I make myself available like this with these podcasts in the hopes that, the people who get to hear, my thoughts on things will be willing to check out my creative efforts in this world. I think you will find that they're even better than my thoughts on things. I like speaking with my work. And you can listen to the Solfeggio Healing Transmission album on Spotify. It's available wherever you listen to your music. It's Solfeggio Transmissions, Jesse Blaze. Just type in Jesse Blaze and you can find them. And then if you want to get in with one of the things, after you check it out, like, go for it. But there's a lot of reasons why, I tried to do this campaign as the thing, but something for you to hear about in a different interview if you're interested in me hearing about it, because I've been on a ton of podcasts recently and I've been talking about it, so you can find more information out there. So True Romance is one of my favorite movies of all time. Love it so much. It is a sweet love story. Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette. I was like in love with her after this movie. It's got a wonderful score. It's shot beautifully. It has just an incredible fucking cast. I mean, really, like, just the cast is insane. From Dennis Hopper and Christopher Walken, who have, oh God, what a great scene they have together. Not Christopher Walken's mobile home, in Dennis Hopper's mobile home, and it is just like, one of the most powerful scenes in cinema history. I'm such a fucking fan of it. Additionally, you've got, sorry, did I pull up the thing here or not? I was trying to remind myself of some of the things. Additionally, I don't really need it. Additionally, you've got Gary Oldman in one of his best roles to date, just really out of the box as Drexel. Right at the beginning of the movie, basically, he falls in love with this call girl who's sent to meet him where he's going to be at the movie theater because it's his birthday, and she's supposed to act like, she's just whatever and then never call him again. But she loves him, and they fall in love, and he does this like big man move to like get her away from her pimp, Drexel. And it sets off a chain reaction of craziness that follows from there, and they end up on the run. Sam Jackson and my buddy Lawrence Mason make an appearance earlier in the movie. I won't spoil all the stuff that goes down there. There's not a lot. They're not in it very much, but in a small role. There's some an excellent scene with Patricia Arquette and a younger James Gandolfini playing one of these mafia guys who's connected to this group. Great bit part played by Brad Pitt towards the end of the movie. Also, what's his name? Is it Will Rappaport? I think that guy. He's like, now he's known for like fucking saying stupid political things online, but he's great in this part as Dick Ritchie, his friend. The guy who plays Balki Bartakamus, I always forget his fucking name. There's like a whole drug deal thing that goes down at the end, and some of these actors you probably wouldn't recognize their names anyway, but some great actors, including Tom Sizemore, Chris Penn, and some little bit parts as cops. But there's lots of people showing up in little bit parts here or there, and oh God, the script is just awesome. Super engaging. Val Kilmer plays Christian Slater's imaginary friend, Elvis. He's just talking to the king all the time. Thank you very much. Excellent stuff. It's really, if you've never seen True Romance, run, don't walk. Go do it. Do it for yourself. It's excellent. And oh my God, I'm so glad to be at the last one because we are getting up to an hour and my fucking back hurts and fuck. Okay, 2015, The Hateful Eight came out, and I got invited to like the longer version of it. I'm pretty sure I'd seen the normal one, and then I got invited to a screening at this cool theater that was like the longer version, and I liked the shorter one, and I thought for sure I wasn't gonna like the longer one, but but it was a cool way to see it, and I was down, and it's one of the most incredible movies I've ever seen. I have to update my like official top 10 movie list because I gotta fit The Hateful Eight in there somewhere, and I've got to hit Mel Gibson's Heartbreak Ridge in there somewhere because I think they're two of the greatest movies I've ever seen. And it's funny. Somebody had made like an argument that The Hateful Eight could have been done like as a Broadway stage show. There was no need to like spend so much money. It is one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen. Just the snow and like the shots and the ugly characters, the dynamic between the ugliness and the beauty of the setting, and oh my God, it's excellent. This is probably a good place to say this. I've had this like lingering thought about Quentin Tarantino as a filmmaker and what it is that he's trying to say, and this movie just brought it home for me completely, because I really do. I believe this for a while, and I believe the majority of his movies ultimately will teach you this lesson. Lead a violent life, find a violent end. And let's just say that the original ending in True Romance was a little bit more violent than Tony Scott decided to get. Most of the people who are not playing their cards right in Jackie Brown and are being violent people get their just desserts in Jackie Brown. From Dusk Till Dawn, essentially all of the violent people, to some degree, get their violent end. There's a lot of people who are getting their violent ends in the movie. Kill Bill, these violent people get their violent ends. Reservoir Dogs, violent people meet a violent end, police officer included. Pulp Fiction, violent people meeting violent ends. Ugh. The Rock isn't about that, but he didn't do the premise for The Rock. He did script doctoring. Django Unchained, revenge, violent people, violent ends. Inglourious Bastards, violent people, violent ends. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is literally rewriting history so that some real life violent people can meet violent ends. Well, which Inglourious Bastards did the same thing. In the end of Death Proof, what do you got? You got a bunch of girls leading to, getting Kurt Russell have a violent end. It's constant within his movies. And The Hateful Eight in particular, man, I just loved it. And, like I said, the extended version, and I said to Digger before he came on, paraphrasing a famous quote, but like, I don't want to see the uncut version of anything. And this movie, oh, fucking A, Quentin. What an amazing job, man. It is beautiful. Performances by Walton Goggins, incredible. Sam Jackson, incredible. Kurt Russell, incredible. Jennifer Jason Leigh, incredible. Tim Roth, incredible. They're all excellent. Tim Roth, I've had problems with him in other things, but it's like it was like perfect. His accent fit in. Like, well, what's your accent? I don't know, but like, whatever it is, it works. I'm trying to see who else we might be missing. It's the Bob character, Smithers. Oh yeah, you got Michael Madsen, Zoe Bell, Channing Tatum showing up as Jody. It feels so authentic. There's so many things to like about it. It's like a murder mystery Clue sort of thing, but in like this tiny room with conflicting personalities. Just like there's certain things in situations where you just set it up and watch it go. And when the set it up and watch it go can take place all in one place like that, And you can see how the set it up and watch it go, even though, these things could have been spread apart and seemed desperate from each other. They were all in one place. It's all happening in this one spot. The Hateful Eight is one of my new favorite movies, and it doesn't happen often where I'm like, okay, where does that sit alongside The Princess Bride, Tombstone, Braveheart, Iron Man, and Rocky, and the Rocky franchise? I think that's my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I don't know, do I like this better than the Rocky franchise? Ooh, kind of. Do I like it better than Iron Man? Kind of. Do I like it better than Braveheart? No. Maybe it's number 4. Heartbreak Ridge. Do I like that better than Braveheart? Yes, maybe. I like Braveheart better. I don't know if they're going to dethrone my top 3. That's the question. Sometime after the Civil War, a stagecoach hurtles through the wintry Wyoming landscape. Bounty hunter John Ruth and his fugitive captive Daisy Dermergoo, which is Kurt Russell and the lady, race towards the town of Red Rock, where Ruth will bring Daisy to justice. Along the road, they encounter Major Marquise Warren, an infamous bounty hunter, and which is Samuel Jackson, and Chris Mannix, a man who claims to be Red Rock's new sheriff. Lost in a blizzard, the bunch seeks refuge at Minnie's haberdashery. When they arrive, they're greeted by unfamiliar faces. Bob, who claims to be taking care of the place while Minnie is gone. Oswaldo Mombre, the hangman of Red Rock. Joe Gage, a cowpuncher, and Confederate General Sanford Smithers. As the storm overtakes the mountainside, the 8 travelers come to learn that they might not make it to the Red Rock after all. Meet Live Violent Life, Meet Violent Ends. It's a great movie, man. The Hateful Eight. Watch the long version. Anyway, today, this was my celebration of my favorite Quentin Tarantino shit. I really, genuinely think he's fucking rad. Rad. And seriously, really worth watching everything that I said today. They're all worth watching. When you get towards the end of this list, though, just fucking Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, such a fun watch. From Dusk Till Dawn, such a fun watch. Jackie Brown, so good and engaging. True Romance, so lovely. The Hateful Eight, harrowingly cool and excellent. Reservoir Dogs is kind of similar to Hateful Eight almost. Hateful Eight is kind of like the follow-up to Reservoir Dogs to some degree. Reservoir Dogs is great too, though. And Pulp Fiction's great. And The Rock is great. And Django Unchained's great. And Inglourious Basterds gets a little boring in the middle, but it's fucking great. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I gotta give it another chance. Death Proof's a little creepy. But anyway, I love you. If you're not listening to my Esoteric Wisdom Show Mondays, it's great. It's called Everything They Don't Want You to Know. Last week I did a show on all the weird censorship that you got across social media, where people have to say things like S-aid instead of sexually assaulted, instead of raped, because they can't say all these words. Good show on that. Check it out. I've been a little under the weather, but I'm hoping to return to you this Saturday with some coolest pick. If I can just get it up to do it. Anyway, I love you guys, and thank you for listening to the show. And I hope you join me again next Wednesday for another fucking awesome episode of The Coolest Geek Alive. Peace out.
Hey, it's my song. Let's sing it. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Come on, it's gonna be fucking awesome. You know the words. It's gonna be fucking awesome. That's it, sing. It's gonna be fucking awesome.